Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Masterclass. I'm Zero.
I'm Justin. What's going on, everybody?
Today, we're going to talk about OU. This is the OU special, the OU primer. We got tier shifts.
Big news. This is obviously the first podcast of the new... We're in April now, so this is the first podcast of the new month, which means this is the first shift over from we're doing now in 2021. We're doing every 3 months tier shifts for Smolgan versus every month, which what we were doing.
Yep.
So now this will be the first tier shift of the new year. So it's really exciting. So we wanted to kind of hone in, and we chose OU because it's obviously like the standard premier singles play, most common. So we're just going to start here today. Obviously, we have a lot of news and stuff to talk about. And
So before we get into the serious stuff, we're going to talk about the not so important stuff. If you guys like the videos, if you like like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. We've said it a thousand times.
Make sure you share the video with anybody else that might like this conversation too. That helps a lot too.
Share it. Interact with the YouTube if you've got a thought, comment. And if you guys like this, let us know what tier you want to see next, because we're willing to do. We want to do them all. Yeah. So Justin, what's up, dude?
What's up, buddy? Not much.
So,
lot of Pokemon this week, isn't it?
Yeah, but
a lot of work in.
Outside of Pokemon, you were just telling me that Warhammer's back in biz, sort of.
Yeah, we're obviously we live in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Nobody likes Buckeyes.
Nobody likes them. Nobody likes State. Anyway,
nobody likes Notre Dame either.
No. Trash.
Oh, should we just go around the whole Big Ten and just make enemies?
You know what? I'm gonna end the episode right there.
In Michigan, we've been open to 50% capacity in a restaurant for about a month and a half, 2 months now, and we just got word that COVID safe. We're gonna have masks and social distancing and everything, but regardless, I don't care. I'll jump through whatever hoops you want me to. It has been over a year since we've had any local tournaments in Grand Rapids for Warhammer.
Yeah.
I play Warhammer Age of Sigmar. I don't play 40K. I know about it. There's a lot of friends of mine that play 40K, but for me, it's just I'm a fantasy person. I play dwarves, so that's my thing. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. This will be my first event that I've been to in about 2 years. 2019 was took a personal year off from going out to events and stuff for the hobby for personal reasons, and then 2020 was obviously 2020. But now we're getting back into it. So this is the first event that we've had locally in 13 months in Grand Rapids. So that's really exciting there. And then obviously this will be, like I said, this will be my first event in about 2 years. So I'm really excited just to get out there. It's just a one-dayer. We're going to play 3 games on a Saturday. But still, it'll be really fun to get out there and roll some dice.
Yeah.
Really excited.
Boy, you really love games of chance, don't you?
I do. I live and die by the RNG, man.
Between Pokemon and dice, yeah.
Pokemon and Warhammer, man. That's how I do.
Before we recorded this,
and I played a lot of TCG growing up.
Yeah,
a lot of Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh when we were kids. So like, it's all RNG all the time, man.
Yeah. Before we recorded this, we did some Players Cup 4 games because that's obviously going on, and we got destroyed for 4 games straight by hacks.
Oh yeah, we got. I don't know. Got crit hacked by a Pheromosa's Close Combat, which mattered. Got crit hacked from a Precipice Blades from a Groudon through screens, which mattered.
Yeah.
What else did we have? We got burned.
Or Rillaboom got burned.
Rillaboom in the rain. Got hit from a Flare Blitz, took like 10 damage, did no damage, but got burned, and we ended up losing that game because Rillaboom just got shut down.
Isn't Pokemon great?
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. But you've actually been, speaking of Players Cup 4, obviously today is Friday morning recording this podcast, but last night at 8 p.m., Thursday night, I was working, but you and Doug actually got on, and you had a good start. So you want to talk about, obviously, I'm bringing a Zacian team. It's very similar to the featured Zacian team on our rental code vid. Link in the description.
Link in the description.
But the only difference is you swap out the Assault Vest Kartana with an Assault Vest Rillaboom. Fake out, knockoff, Grassy Glide, and high horsepower. Obviously, Gigantamax.
Assault Vest on Kartana is actually not good.
No, it's not worth it.
It's really not good.
In our opinion, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, it's like...
What do you think about Kartana? Have you found a different example of maybe where Assault Vest could hang in there? Because in our opinion, it's just not worth it. It's either
Kartana,
it's Focus Sash or Bus. Life Orb's good.
Yeah.
Or Choice Banded.
Yeah, in VGC, I think Assault Vest is really not good.
He's just so squishy.
Yeah. I like Focus Sash better, and I would pull off a coverage move as hard as it is. As hard as it is, I'd pull a coverage move off for Protect.
Yeah, you'd have to plan the team around it. Maybe get rid of the Airstream option.
They're also so great. Hard. Yeah, they're also great.
But yeah, so that's my team, Zashi. And what are you running for Players Cup 4?
I am running Calyrex Ice.
If
you guys have
another featured team.
Yep.
This one is basically carbon copy straight off of the rental code, or did you change it?
It's a little different.
Oh, you changed it too.
So the rental code is still out there. It's going to be for the version with Mimikyu. The new version has Grimmsnarl because I wanted Insta screens, so I didn't have to set up a Trick Room to win games.
You also did a little bit of testing with an Oranguru.
Yeah, I did.
That was a lot of fun.
I did like that, actually.
Oranguru's good,
I did like
isn't
that.
she?
Yeah, you'll see that in Series 9.
Obviously, for people who don't know, I love monkey Pokemon. I love grass types, but I also love monkey Pokemon. Big shout out to the infamous trainer. I know you're the Monkey King. I'm not trying to steal your title. I know you're the Monkey King. I love your channel, by the way. Big shout out. You guys should absolutely subscribe to the infamous trainer. He does a lot of great videos. But anyways, he's the Monkey King, but I love monkey Pokemon. Yep. I love monkeys.
You'll see Oranguru.
Oranguru is a great mon. We're featuring her on our Dialga team.
Yep. And you will see it on one or two of my Series 9 teams, I believe.
Yeah, we actually have a note that we want to... We've been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes like prep work for Series 9. A lot of our teams are sort of built sort of from the top down when we're making a lot of our Series 8 teams, or at least a lot of the teams that I've been working on especially. I'm sort of thinking, not in the back, but sort of in the forefront of my head is like, okay, how could I make this team now, but also just, plug and play, take out my Uber and plug in something else and make it work for Series 9 also. Yep. Like the Zamazenta team, you could easily pull that out for another coaching poke, and that team works pretty decently as is.
Yeah. So, like, to wrap up my what got going on for me for PokeProjects, this is we've kind of segued into PokeProjects unintentionally.
Yeah. We're working on all kinds of stuff today.
Yeah. So it is a Calyrex Ice team.
You have obviously put in a lot of work.
Yeah.
Since the last podcast, you had a little bit of obviously you were in the hospital. We are all glad to see you.
Successful surgery.
Everything went well.
Yep. Successful surgery. I finished Xenoblade Definitive Edition.
Woo!
9 out of 10. That game's amazing.
9 out of 10.
I've been binge watching Naruto.
Trying to catch up on the
9 out of 10. Amazing.
Yeah. He hasn't even in Shippuden yet. He's still in the tuning exams. He's got a way to catch up. But he used to put in a lot of hours. At his old job, obviously before the surgery. Now he's on bed rest for a little while. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to finally catch up on some of these like childhood. Yeah. It's been forever. And
I picked up Crash 4. I'm 2 levels in, 9 out of 10, amazing. The 2 levels I played.
Hashtag Crash for Smash. We want Crash Bandicoot and Smash Bros. Ultimate.
I'm going to record my playthrough of Crash, and I'm going to do Supercut. That'll be on my personal channel.
I can't wait. That's going to be so fun.
Yeah. If you guys backtrack to this video, then I'll probably link it in the description when it's done.
Or maybe in one of those... up here. Maybe one of those fancy little things where we can get the notate.
Yeah, we need some more subs so we can get like cards and stuff. So start subbing. But yeah, Calyrex Ice. I've been working on this Calyrex Ice team.
Are you running a weakness policy?
No, there's not a single weakness policy. I'm running Assault Vest, which I think is the best way to run it.
You heard it here. The best way to run Calyrex Ice in Series... Well, obviously only in Series 8.
9.
In Series 9? 8. Yeah, we're in 8 right now. The best way to run Calyrex in Series 8 is Assault Vest. Same thing. The Pokemon... That's Master Quest.
I'll die on that hill, too. I'll die on that hill. So much better weakness policy.
I'll die on this hill. The best way to run Incineroar in Series 8 is... You do whatever you want with the other 252, whatever EVs, but the first 252 needs to go in that attack stat, and it needs to be adamant.
All right. Getting off track.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. We're going to finish up PokeProjects. We got to stop talking about doubles.
Yeah, you obviously made a lot of pokes while you were off in the hospital and at home on bed rest.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about that? You got basically like what, a whole box of 30 done?
Yeah, and it was all like legendaries and things that I'll be using for Series 9. That I did get a lot of Pokemon done. Like I said, you're going to see a lot of those in Series 9.
Basically, all of the Ubers that we've been collecting over the past couple of months from doing
Yep.
the Dynamax Adventure raid since Crown dropped.
Yep.
You finished basically everything, right? All your Ubers are done?
For the most part, I've got...
Or all the relevant ones that you care about?
Like, I think the most relevant one that might be left is, like, Palkia? Might be like...
Oh, we just got that.
We got it, but I haven't finished
we just did a Palkia raid within a couple of days ago, so that's brand new.
Yep.
And we actually did some Palkia testing. We're trying to work on a team. Well, it's still Series 8.
More projects.
Always working on more projects.
Yeah. So final thoughts for double things. If you guys are following the channel, you'll see that we did participate in a friendly tournament.
Yeah, we did. That was a lot of fun.
A warm-up tournament. It was awesome. Hosted by a Reddit user.
Dapper. Shout out to Dapper.
Dapper. I think his Reddit, his username is like "How you doing" or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember
I tagged him in a Reddit post.
So I did see you tagged him in the actual post.
So yeah, I did that. I did get a top 10 finish. I did record all my games and I did a supercut, so you can check that out. Link in description.
Yeah, we had like a mini stream with the PMC crew.
We had Doug and we had obviously Justin on the line. I put a lot of time into converting that down from 2 hours to 50 minutes. So definitely check that out. And after that, I did make some changes to the Calyrex team.
It was really fun to be able to like right up on the brink of getting into PC4 to get this testing and be like, you know what? I really want screens. And that's why you...
So I've been experimenting with screens on my Series 8's Players Cup 4 team. And I gained like almost 4,000 points. The changes that I made on Showdown in my testing. So
it really put in the work.
So that was one of the benefits of that. And got started a piece on PC4, Players Cup 4, obviously. And I started really well, 3-0. Recorded those games. Those will be out tomorrow. And I've done a couple more since. I peaked at 291 for day one. I've still got some more games to play.
Super impressive for the first night.
Yeah, so I still have more games to play today. We're going to get on that after this. And we're going to be updating you guys. I'm going to be bringing you a Players Cup 4 video every single day. Throughout. So you're going to get a day 1, a day 2, and a day 3. And those are going to be post-production. So day 1 comes out tomorrow, and then day 2 will be Sunday, and day 3 will be Monday.
Yeah.
So I think that's it for doubles, right? You want to move into the meat and potatoes of this episode?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously this is going to be primarily a singles.
Yep, we are done with doubles. It is singles time.
It's singles time.
So the first thing we got to talk about, obviously, is tier shifts, like you mentioned.
Lots and lots and lots to talk about here. We're going to try to condense it.
Yeah.
It's just, obviously this is the first one, so this will probably get better or easier the more we do these, but this is the first time because it's 3 months worth of tier shifts. There's a lot to talk about all year last year with 1 month tier shifts. Yep. And I personally, I thought it was really fun having a revolving door every...
It wasn't.
I liked it simply because it felt fresh every month. There was just so much... And so if we were also in the middle of making a lot of pokes last year.
Yeah.
We made... I mean, I put 1,000 hours in. You put 900 out, 800.
800, yeah.
So we've 2020 was a good year for Pokemon.
The most annoying thing though was like making a Pokemon and then like they would get banned out. Like you'd make a Pokemon for a tier, then they get banned out of it like 2 days later. Like, what? I just made this Pokemon.
Yeah, I didn't have too. I try to stay as close to the plug and play, flexible when I make sets, but sometimes it kind of bites me because I'm not as tailored. Yeah. So it's again another RNG aspect. But so what are some of the big ones you want to talk about? Obviously, if you want to talk about your bread and butter getting bumped out of OU officially. We saw the trends.
Yep.
And now it's official. Print it, send it out.
Yep. We talked about this. We did do a Kyurem Pokemon Live, link in description. And we had called that this was going to happen. We had seen that.
I think it's in the title too.
Yeah, it's Kyurem's Last Stand or something like that. Yeah. The writing was on the wall for Kyurem to rise up to OU with the bans of Magearna and Cinderace.
I think it was 2 months in a row of trends going up.
Yep. And so he's up there and...
How do you feel? So you're obviously a huge Kyurem fan. You've been using him for UU for months. That team has done work for you for a long time.
I'm just sad that my really good UU team has been decimated by the loss of Kyurem and Slowking.
Yeah. So now, do you think the team can work in OU? We'll start there.
The team I'm running specifically,
you might have to make some tweaks, or is it back to is it an etch a sketch back to the ground?
It's back to
square one.
It's back to square one because I mean there are things like you can plug Chansey in the Slowking slot if you would like, because it gets Regenerator, but the future sight was in the coverage of Slowking.
It was nice tech.
Was really nice. Yeah, so Kyurem has risen up. When we look at Kyurem, and when we kind of look at OU as a whole, I've got OU pulled up right here, and I will bring that up for you guys. When you kind of look at OU as a whole, it really dismantles.
What stands out to you first when you look at OU?
When I look at OU, just as far as Kyurem is concerned, the very first thing that I see is just
there's a lot
the
of
coverage.
Pink.
Yeah,
I see a lot of pink.
Yeah.
Obviously, what I mean there's a lot of fairy type, really prevalent fairy type pokes in OU, and that's obviously because there are just some of, if not most of, all the best dragons in the game are in OU right now. Unfortunately, Mence got missed.
Yeah, but we'll kind of talk about that, like overall state, like
yeah.
After we talk about these,
for sure.
But that is a very good point. However, because of Specs Freeze Dry, and because of the amount of dragons, and because of the presence of Landorus, I mean, look at Freeze Dry here, like
so free. It's
it
really
so
good
much
coverage.
Stuff. It hits so much stuff, and then like you've got Earth Power to hit Heatran. You know what I mean? You got
which is really important now.
Draco erases a lot of things that don't resist it. Freeze Dry here. You got Earth Power for Magnezone. It's just. I think Earth Power for Regieleki.
The Specs is a 2-hit KO on Melmetal, right? Wasn't that the calc?
I think Earth
Power.
Earth Power. Yep. Yeah. It's just.
Which is, I bring that up because Melmetal is obviously a beast, and he hasn't got banned yet, which is a little surprising. And I'm personally am on the train where, if I were to get the wish, if I were to get the King for the Day key, I personally like Melmetal and OU, but that's more of, maybe I'm biased just because it's like, oh, he's cool, he's like, it's hard to get him, and he's rare, and I just want to see him used.
I don't really think he's going anywhere.
I don't think so either.
Particularly.
I think he's good.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's broken.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So moving on to the next ones, obviously Bisharp.
That's a big one.
Because Cinderace got banned and Dragapult has kind of risen as like a pretty premier like pivot kind of Pokemon. Sucker Punches are at a premium. He's like the best sucker punching Pokemon right now.
Defiant is obviously
Defiant,
incredible.
like you said, because we've got the presence of Corviknight, because Corviknight's presence has risen up. You can still one-hit KO a lot of Corviknight builds with knockoff after you've been Defiant boosted.
Yep.
So there's a lot of that there. The Stab Sucker Punch probably the best in the game at this point.
Absolutely.
Not a surprise to see Bisharp rising.
No, I like him a lot. Skarmory's a big one.
Yeah, Skarm.
Obviously, just the prevalence of dragons.
Yes.
This is essentially the trifecta that OU has always had, but more prevalent now, especially when you see this solidified. April 1st, we woke up, I was like, oh, yep, okay, well, dragons everywhere.
Yep.
And then the thing to stop dragons is going to be either other dragons or fairies, and the thing to check or wall fairies, steals. So obviously that's why you see this trifecta of these three types so prevalently moving up a lot in a lot of these tier shifts, not just to OU. Skarmory coming up, it's pretty surprising. Maybe not surprising, but it's interesting, I think, now that we're in a meta with both Corv and Skarm.
Well, it's because McGarren is gone. No more Specs Volt Switch. No more Pyro Balls. You don't have to worry about that.
From Cinderace, Yeah,
you don't have to play that. You don't have to worry about playing that game against Cinderace.
Would you ever run both birds on one team? No. You personally?
No, I wouldn't.
You'd pick one or the other?
I would, I would just pick one or the other because...
What's the difference for you competitively between... Skarmory's obviously OG.
Yeah.
Corviknight's new kid on the block, but they're both really good.
I would only run one or the other. I would run Skarmory if you want Whirlwind phasing plus hazards.
Yep.
And I would only run Corviknight for defog. I would not run them on the same team because of Magnezone.
Yep. I think that's perfect.
Magnezone could trap both of them.
Yep.
And Magnezone can one-hit KO both of them. And we'll talk about him a little bit later, too.
Point-click delete.
Yep.
Obviously, you see him right there.
Yeah, we can talk about him a little bit right now.
Look at that jump.
From RU to OU.
And you just brought up the main reason why with the ability Magnet Pull.
Yep.
He's got 2 really good moves to be able to utilize Magnet Pull. Obviously now because, old days when we first started,
Hidden Power Fire.
He had Magnet Pull, Hidden Power Fire. So this is not news to anybody that's used to competitive Pokemon for a while.
Yep.
Magnezone has always been that premier steal check because of Magnet Pull.
Yep.
But now that Hidden Power Fire, we're like, okay, what can we do here? But when we have these flying steel types, you hit them with the Stab Electric move. And then on top of that, you have things like, whatchamacallit?
Body Press?
The Body Press was the other one. So you either do Thunder, Thunderbolt, or Rising Voltage, depending on your Stab Electric move. And then he has either Iron Defense boosted or not, but he has a really good, I think it's 116 base defense, and he gets Body Press. So that deals with Melmetal.
Hits a little Bisharp here, too.
Hits Bisharp.
For 4 times.
It one-shots Bisharp because it's ×4 super effective.
Yep.
It deals with Dark types really well. That might be coming in to deal with either Ghosts or Psychic types.
Volt switches Slow King and Slow Bro.
Just destroys them.
Yep.
So, there's Magnezone I was using for a long time. I'm a big fan of this thing.
Yeah.
Mine is named Magneto. Obviously, I'm a huge X-Men fan. Yep. So Magneto's a staple from back in Series 4, Series 5. We were using that a long time ago with the Pincurchin.
Yep. And the last one, the last big rise in OU is Zeraora. This is no surprise because of this volt turning stuff we've been just talking about.
Boots Volt Switch.
So this is a really good Volt Switcher. He also comes in on Volt Switching Magnezone.
Because of Volt Absorb.
He's got Close Combat. He's got Blaze Kick. He's got, obviously, his Stab Electric move, Plasma Fist. So, kind of hits a lot of the physical walls for some good damage.
I like Zeraora. He's
weak.
I've always been unimpressed with his damage. He fits way better as that pivot poke.
Most definitely. I definitely agree with you there. So that's all the tier shifts for OU. We've got a couple other ones to talk about that are really interesting. We're not going to go over all of these because there's so much happening in NU.
There's so much. We will cover NU because that's a big tier that I love.
I like it too, yeah.
But a lot of my favorites are still NU. Yep. So, woo, I'm rocking. We're going to be featuring NU a lot on the channel. That's sort of the ones that we play in our local group around here. The PMC crew plays, when we play singles, the 2 most played historically have always been NU and OU.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 things. That's the high tier and low tier games that we play the most.
Yep. So as far as these rises to RU, these are just formalities.
I love
because they were already banned.
Yep.
And because they could only be used in RU and higher.
And now it's just being officially.
Now they're premier threats there.
Put the stamp on it.
But these 2 here, I think, deserve a little bit of talking about. Gastrodon rises to counter.
Ryan Martini.
Toxtricity. The only thing is Boom Burst. That's the only thing you got to watch out for, but you can run a specially defensive set.
Which is strong.
Mm-hmm.
Base 101 HP or something like that. Super fat.
Electric and Steel types are kind of living this really good life right now in RU. So
Electric
it makes sense that Gastrodon has risen. I'm not surprised. And then
how do you feel about Golisopod? That's a little niche.
First impression on Zarude. I believe that's the main reason for that.
Because we've used Zarude, and when you look at Zarude's stats, you see, and
his typing.
He's decently bulky, he's decently fast, he's decently strong, and then you play with him, you're like, wait a minute. He's actually really bulky.
Yeah.
He's actually really strong. He's actually really, he's not really fast, but you get my point. He outperforms your expectations.
He's one of those Pokemon that I was definitely eating a little crow on. I was totally wrong on the road because
I was wrong too.
I was like, this Pokemon's garbage.
Well, we didn't think it was necessarily
not garbage,
but in comparison to what he actually performed, he performed miles above our expectations.
Yeah. So he's great. I think that's why Golisopod is seeing a rise is because of those first impressions. You don't have to worry about the speed tier. Also, Reuniclus. Reuniclus is really good and one of the most used Pokemon in RU right now. Stab bug moves.
We love the Assault Vest set, don't we? That's a good one.
And he has Aqua Jet against Darmanitan, which is almost always scarfed. So those, I think, are the big reasons for running Golisopod.
Yeah, Stab Golisopod with dual Stab Prio moves is really strong.
Yeah. And then a really big one is Roserade has risen to RU. Probably to counter Gastrodon.
I'm so happy. I love Roserade. Obviously, I'm Grass Leader Justin, Gym Leader Justin. My gym would be the Grass Gym, you know, if we were in the anime sort of thing. So I love and obviously Roselia, hailing from the Hoenn rep. This is all me. And so Roserade's great. I love Roserade. We've done a lot of work both with the supportive setup and also in Dynamax formats. We've had a lot of good stab oozes. She's really, obviously this is not a Dynamax format, but just Roserade's, we're a big fan of her.
Kind of surprising it took this long
for
her to rise up.
We were calling that months ago, weren't we?
Yeah, when she first fell to PU, we were like, oh well, Roserade's getting bumped out real fast. That was the first one we called. And then she never did.
Nope.
So yeah.
We abused her, didn't we? We abused her in our local meta a lot.
Yeah. And then NU, really quickly, we're not going to talk about this much because we're about to follow up on this in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
These Hail starting Pokemon are rising up to kind of
enable
Hail teams because there are no fighting types. However,
which we've mentioned before, all the fighting types have.
However, now you'll see Surfetch rose up.
Have we checked since the new tiers? Is that still true? Are there no fighting types in
Surfetch now? Because Surfetch rise, that's
to NU.
Your only one.
He's your only one. And Surfetch is a great Pokemon.
So before we keep talking about NU and Hail,
what you got?
Let's move on to the next thing because we've got suspect tests and bans, and
we do. And the bans are obviously one that we're going to talk about right here. Over on the drop side, you can see Big Brother Latios. That's going to get rectified in just about 2 seconds.
Yep. So we will talk about that really quick. Yeah. So we've got some bans. The first ones that were really big news was Alakazam and Latios have been banned out of UU. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? I
like it.
I'm not wild about it.
I like it because, I mean, Latios always should have been OU in
Latios I can kind of understand.
Kazam has been riding UU for a while, and I'm sort of curious as to what made it rise in popularity, other than, I mean, it's strong, but, like, it doesn't, on paper, fill some sort of niche that needs filling in OU.
No, it doesn't, unfortunately.
I think it got banned, not so much the fact that it does something OU, but just the fact that it... I guess I should have worded it differently. I'm curious as to what it was breaking in UU that got it banned, because essentially that's what it was.
Yeah, I kind of wonder that too. Like, a couple things is like maybe Slowking, especially defensive Slowking, isn't there to kind of wall it, like the versions that don't have Shadow Ball, as far as like Alakazam is concerned. And then... yeah, honestly, and then Bisharp, you know, we don't have Bisharp anymore. But it's just, like, weird to me that you would ban Alakazam specifically. Like, I understand Latios, because he's also got a little bit of bulk because he's a legendary Pokemon. But because they just recently unbanned Aegislash, I don't understand the reason for banning
I feel like
Alakazam as much.
Aegislash would have been a really nice check to Kazam.
Yes, so... that's why I don't love that one, but it is what it is. We did try to use Alakazam on our channel in our last Showdown Live.
Yeah, it's a fun team. We're definitely going to be using it again.
Yeah, we are. They've been banned out. Their offensive pressure is too much. Is basically what they're saying.
I'm personally on the boat. I like both of them. I think that they fit in OU. Obviously, they're BL right now, but I think they fit in OU really well.
By virtue, they're in OU.
Especially Latios. I'm a huge... just like he's on the specs. Curium, however you say that. Pronunciation.
Yeah, whatever.
He's on the specs Kyurem. I'm on the specs Latios. Yep. I love... because base 110 for Timid, that's a good speed tier to be at base without...
yeah, it is.
And then so you just run Timid... choice specs. He's got really good moves now with Aura Sphere, Mystic Fire.
Yep.
And then you could either run Bolt... Ice Beam or Thunderbolt or Energy Ball or Psychic.
The possibilities are endless.
And then obviously the last slot is always Draco Meteor.
Yep.
You never leave home without Specs Draco.
Nope. So that's kind of it for those. I think we did discuss that a little bit more in that video. So kind of moving on to the next one, we've got Virizion has finally been banned out of PU.
Took a little bit. Took some shifting before the tiers actually solidified. From what they were a couple weeks ago, it wasn't enough for it to actually get banned. But now that the tiers have solidified over the 3 months of global stats, Now, based on what was down there in PU, things got moved, and Virizion is too strong.
Yeah, so the reason for that is because when we look here at what has risen up, Talonflame is the first one.
Really big.
Talonflame has kind of been keeping Virizion in check, as well as Sandslash and Hail. Super effective ice. Not so much Sandslash.
Yeah, being able
the
to
thought
have,
is there.
Obviously, the reason that you bring up Talonflame is the ability Gale Wings. When he's 100% HP, flying moves become +1 priority. So he can just throw out Dual Wing Beat or Brave Bird and just one shot, being times 4 super effective, stab, prio. It's just a really solid check to the Virizion.
Yep. And then Braviary had moved up as well.
Which is a big one. We've talked about Braviary a lot, same as Roserade.
Yeah, we thought Braviary would get banned a little bit sooner. Well, it didn't get banned, but it rose up.
Naturally.
And so that kind of led to Virizion getting removed. Well, my initial thought was, what about Charizard? And then you had brought up the fact that Virizion's faster than Charizard.
By 9 points.
That's a lot.
And gets Stone Edge.
Gets Rock Slide, gets Swords Dance. So Charizard is not safe from Virizion. And when you look at a tier, really not much is safe from Virizion.
After an SD, you're basically just GG.
Yeah,
you don't need a Dynamax format. You literally just SD and win the game.
Yep. So if I can pull up NU real quickly here.
Yeah.
And I will pull this up here. When you look through NU, Aerodactyl, you know what I mean? Aerodactyl is going to get smoked by Rock Slide, Close Combat, you know, Rock Slide, Close Combat, Leaf Blade, Rock Slide, Bronzong. But like, you kind of get my point here when you're like just looking.
Yeah. Is this NU?
This is NU, yeah.
So obviously he got banned out of PU.
Yeah, he got banned. Oh yeah, banned out of PU. Sorry.
So this is where he's at now. This is where he's going to be now.
Yeah. So he's going to be there now. It's actually...
He's going to do really well.
Yeah, he's going to do really well.
But he's not as... because again, obviously, yes, he can Rock Slide the Braviary, but Braviary can Brave Bird him.
Yeah. So apologies for that. Let's look through PU here really quick. Close Combat, Rock Slide.
Oh, and especially Archeops. Like, Archeops is faster and can hit him with the Dual Wing Beat.
But
it depends on whether or not Archeops has the
Defeatist
procced.
Got Heliolisk here, but like it can't touch Virizion.
Nope.
You really can't do anything outside of like if you're in.
You can Hyper
Voice,
Voice, which isn't that.
That's not enough because it's special.
Yes, it's stab, but I mean you're not gonna break through Virizion before he kills you with a Sacred
Leaf
Sword.
Blade
or Close Combat.
Yeah. It's just like look at all of this, and I think it gets Earthquake too.
Yeah.
It's just like when you look at the tier. And you see how much it outspeeds, and you see the access to his moves. Yeah,
I think he's going to be.
He's going to be good in NU.
I think he's going to be S+ in NU. I don't think he'll be broken. I'm calling it now. I don't think he'll be broken, but I'm excited to try him out. I love grass type Pokemon, and Virizion's going to be super fun.
Yeah. So the next one that we are going to move on to, this is going back to the snow stuff. Snow Warning has been banned in NU.
No Hail starter ability.
So Snow Warning was enabling Aurora Veil plus Arctivish,
which was a threat,
as well as like Sandslash and things like that. So like you get those teams under.
So obviously you set up dual screens in one turn. You have the Slush Rush to outspeed. It's really really potent threats.
Yeah. So not really surprised that it did get banned. However, with this ban, they have opened the doors for Arctozolt to come back.
Yep.
Because you're going to have to self-start your own Hail. And they've also opened the door to Aurora Veil. So you'll have to spend a turn to get the benefits of those Pokemon and moves.
You're going to actually have to run Hail the move.
Yep. So that's why we kind of brushed over our chat here about these Pokemon in the Rises. So... I think that's going to bring us to the end of that. We're going to take a little break, and then we're going to move on to the main segment, which is an overview of OU. And then we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
And we're going to go play Players Cup 4.
Oh, yeah. We'll get some tournament games.
All right, and we're back. Let's just get right into it. We are talking about OU today. This is the OU primer for the next few months.
Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're,
hey, doggy. A dog's over here trolling the podcast. Yeah, so OU, traditionally the tier that I've played the most. That's kind of like been where I've lived when it comes to Pokemon competitively.
Yep.
Probably more than any format ever. So I was really excited to do this one. I got a really good understanding of the tier, I would say.
Yeah.
So a general overview of OU right now. When I think of OU, I actually think that this might be the most balanced that it's been in a while.
It's definitely a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, there's still a lot of really good like offensive threats. When Crown Tundra ended, at that point, there weren't a lot of offensive threats. Like,
yeah, it was a really bulky meta.
It was really bulky and really boring.
Like 40, 50 turns of just,
like Clef was on like 60% of teams, and the Clef core was a big thing. But yeah, it was pretty boring. It was pretty awful. But now I think it's really, really balanced. And I feel like the biggest Pokemon, and we'll talk about this Pokemon a little more in detail soon. The only Pokemon I think of when I think of a Pokemon that can steamroll your team is probably Volcarona. The only snowballing type of Pokemon, I would say, because they have a lot of the Beast Boost Pokemon are not either not in the tier or they're not viable.
They don't have the right typing.
Kartana's the biggest one. And even Kartana obviously has its weaknesses. So, very balanced metagame, I would say, at this.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things that can be viable, either in OU or bringing it up. That's a lot of fun, too.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull up OU here, and then we will talk about it more in general. Yeah, so like there's a few things about the OU metagame in general that I really wanted to point out. And the first one is the first thing that I found interesting when I looked at the tier is the slow forms, Slowbro, Slowking, and Slowking Galar. There's a very big precedence on Regenerator Pokemon. They are the prime example of the Regenerator Pokemon.
Super bulky.
Regenerator in itself is a very broken ability. And these guys use it the best because of their access. Teleport. Yeah, because their access to teleport. Obviously, Slowking Galar does not have teleport, but with an Assault Vest, you kind of need it because if you play your cards right, he's actually a very good offensive presence too. 110 special attack. That's
really good.
Uninvested is still good. So I run the specially defensive with the Assault Vest. Just can't be touched on that side. So
just plinks off damage like nobody's tomorrow, and then Regenerator it back up.
Yep. So like Regenerator too. Most of the Pokemon with Regenerator are OU viable.
Yep.
There's like a couple exceptions. Obviously, like Eldegoss and Corsola. Audino's good in low tiers, but like Amoonguss is almost OU.
Yep.
I mean, he's in UU. And then you got Tangrowth, who
absolutely is viable in OU.
Absolutely is viable. This is basically an OU Pokemon, but it's not OU because there's not enough room for it to fit because it's usage-based tiers.
Yep.
And then, so Tornadus, Therian is OU. Like, all the good Regenerator mons are already OU. So
basically, yeah. And there's a reason for that. It's obviously because we have Boots this gen.
Yes.
New item.
Yep. That like you said, Boots plus Regenerator is really...
And then the addition, the fact that all these pokes from Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee can get teleport. So all these Kanto pokes are getting teleport because of that.
Yep. So it's like... Yeah, and then like Clefable, that's another one. It doesn't have Regenerator, but it's got Magic Guard and it can teleport. But it's got Soft Boil.
Blissey can teleport.
Blissey can teleport. So Heavy Duty Boots, Blissey... It's all kind of the same thing, but a little bit different. You know, because a couple of those Pokemon have access to healing moves.
And the reason Teleport is so useful is obviously the same reason that like Flip Turn, U-Turn, Volt Switch is useful, but for the opposite end of the spectrum. It's the slow version because it's the negative priority.
Yep.
So you make sure that me, the Tank Poke, Blissey, Clef, I'm going to stay in and be slow, take whatever hit you want to throw at me, bounce it off my shield like nobody's tomorrow, and then switch out for free.
Yep, and then you go into the counter. Yep.
So it's really powerful.
Yep.
And then if you have Regenerator on top of that, then you're switching out and healing, and so you take the hit, then switch out, and then heal up the hit you just took from the regenerator. So that's the cycle, and it's really powerful.
Yep. So the last point I want to make about the general overall state of OU is that winning games, because of these things, because of all of the pivoting and all of the healing, winning games comes down to is making doubles. Making doubles is how you're going to...
Double switching is what he means.
Yes. So for example, say they've got a water-type Pokemon out. Who's a good water-type Pokemon? So, okay, say Slowbro's out. You send out your Magnezone. You know they have Landorus in the back, and you know they're going to switch to it, so you double out to your Weavile, and now you're threatening it.
And now I have the tempo control. I have the ice-type threat out in front of your, Lando.
Yep.
Obviously,
and you also have the pressure of a dark move for the Slowbro
that wants to come. Yeah, so that's a really good, pulling out of your hat example, but it really does fit. And there's obviously a million of those.
Yeah.
But being able to pull off double switches or being able to predict and make reads, that like in our Alakazam video, we won those games because of our ability to play around what our opponent was trying to do.
Yeah, and double switches are hype as hell too.
Yeah.
Double switches are hype. So
super good. It's just like, I read you like a book.
Yeah, dude. Like,
you pull up kid to school.
Did you pull up a double and you're like, I am Poke-Aim, dude.
I am the man.
Yeah, so that's how I feel about like the general state of OU. So next, we're going to shift into specific Pokemon. We're going to talk about offensive Pokemon, give you some examples. We're going to give you defensive Pokemon, niche Pokemon, and some off-meta threats that me and Justin think are really good and could potentially have a place in OU.
Basically things that aren't OU that you could bring up and would work fine or be like a secret pick.
Yep, so we'll talk about offensive threats first.
Yep.
So we talked about it a little bit before. We're going to mention it again. We've got Kyurem.
One of your favorites.
Yep. Scarf and Specs are both
I like
doable.
Scarf, and he runs Specs. So it is really interchangeable. It just depends on... I run Modest Scarf, and I think you run Timid Specs. So yeah, that's... two sides of the same coin.
Yep.
It depends on your preference, or more relevant, your team comp.
Yes.
The team that I was running... It led better to have him as a Scarf.
Yeah.
And you wanted the Spec, so you built that around that.
Yep.
So
I had some other faster threats on my team.
Yeah.
Draco Meteor, Freeze Dry, Earth Power, and Shadow Ball. I don't think there's a need for another set.
No. That's exactly the moveset that I'm running. It's just the inverted version.
Yeah. So like when you look at the OU tier and you look at the kind of things that you can hit with that coverage, you just...
What about, doesn't he get Flash Cannon?
I think he does get Flash Cannon. I can look that.
And then also Focus Miss.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Focus Blast is also there as well. Yep. Flash Cannon and Focus Blast. You guys obviously can't see those on screen because I've got the tiers up. But yes, those are options as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a little safer to run just the set that we've got on screen.
But yeah, just as honorable mentions for people.
Yes. Yeah. So Earth Power is really essential for hitting things like Heatran.
Earth Power is almost as essential as his stabs. Like those three moves, you can't leave home without.
Yeah, because
you need Draco, you need Freeze Dry, you need Earth Power.
Yeah, because like Malamute, like any Steel type that wants to switch in is just going to
every Steel type in the universe.
Yep. Regieleki, who I guess that's not as much. That's probably not like in the same category, but like Tapu Koko, trying to expect a Draco Meteor, you hit him with an Earth Power.
Yep.
It's all about the reads. It's all and then Draco Meteor just like erases things that don't resist. You're going to erase Zeraora, Zapdos, Volcarona, Urshifu. The list goes on. This Pokemon, you can freeze dry Toxapex. Toxapex is not free, even especially defensive. So,
no, and with the specs, that's against the standard Toxapex, which has like the physical investment.
Yeah,
it's a 2-hit KO. It's a 2-hit KO with Specs Earth Power.
Yeah.
So they're gonna switch in, and it's a 1-hit KO with Freeze Dry.
Yes. So
depending on, like we said earlier, making those predictions around switches and stuff, you can absolutely just delete their Toxapex in a turn or two, or at least neuter it.
Yep.
It does have Regenerator, but you can neuter it with that Earth Power depending on the prediction game or game state, and it's such a good wall breaker.
If Kyurem is not the premier offensive Pokemon, then the next Pokemon here is.
Absolutely. Volcarona is so great. I love this Pokemon. Big Bug fan. This is the exact set that I have on cartridge right now. It could vary the item, but essentially, like you could do Focus Sash, or you could do Charty Berry, which is anti-rock. There are certain options, but I really like Heavy Duty Boots.
Same.
For what we've already talked about, being times for weak to Stealth Rock. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yep. Do you run Timid or Modest?
I run, on this set, I run Timid.
Okay. I run Modest.
Okay. But
I live life on the edge. I like to blow things up.
Either way, I run Timid because I want the speed boost, and we have the Fiery Dance, which could potentially boost our special type also.
Yep.
So again, it's salt to pepper type of thing. The move Spread here, we're not running a Bug Stab. That's intentional. We don't need it. That's my personal, opinion. I think it's pretty close to an objective opinion that Bug Buzz is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, let me just really, really quick. We'll just scroll really quick and see what does Bug really get you?
Now there are a few psychics, like we've already mentioned the slows.
Yep,
Slowbro, Slowking, and Slowking Galar.
But at the same time, we've got Giga Drain for those.
We've got Giga Drain to deal with those, and Giga Drain gives us healing.
Yeah, and it's what does Bug really hit for us? I'm just not seeing.
It's just. I think this is pretty close to an objective truth that Bug Buzz is unnecessary at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, and there's T-Tar, but it's you don't want to stay.
You're not going to stand on a T-Tar anyways.
Yeah, no, you're not going to.
You're going to neutralize that threat before you try to set up your quiver.
Yeah, so I mean, even looking down here, it's Bug Buzz really doesn't offer you much. Crawdon's still going to.
And again, we have Giga Drain for T-Tar.
Yeah, so if you have to make that play, then you've got Giga Drain. So
we've got Stab Fire because obviously there's just such an overabundance of Steel types.
Yes.
Because they're just insanely good for defensive and offensive purposes.
Yep.
Dealing with fairies and dragons.
Yep.
So, fire types, I think if Steel, Dragon, and Fairy are the premier types, I think fire is, for me personally, the absolute best. If you want to be anti-meta or counter-meta in OU, fire types, or specifically Sun teams, I think that is the sleeper, super special, awesome offensive pick.
Especially if you got Earth Power on said Pokemon.
So this one, the reason that we're running Fiery Dance, Giga Drain, we've talked about a lot, and then Psychic.
Yep.
As that last one on intentionally to take care of a lot of these poison types.
Toxapex
specifically, because otherwise it would wall it pretty well. Even with Giga Drain, it's just not worth it because you can regenerate her off and it's not stabbed. To be able to just smash it with that super effective Psychic that they're not expecting, and it's a higher base power than the Giga Drain, you really, and after one quiver, you'll be able to smash through.
Yep. The only other move, there are two other moves you could slot in. Hurricane, which I don't recommend as much.
No, it depends on your team's setup or spread. Obviously, if you're Dynamax format, it's a lot better because of Airstream, but...
Yeah. And then you could go Roost. I think Roost into Giga Drain's place is completely acceptable.
Yeah, Roost is definitely a good transfer move here, so we can obviously still use it in this format.
Yep.
It's a really good option.
Yeah. The last thing with Psychic is it complements our next Pokemon really well, and that would be Tapu Lele.
Absolutely.
So the obvious draw to Tapu Lele is starting the Psychic Train, which protects you against priority moves, boosts the power of Psychic moves.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, also making Volcarona's Psychic a little stronger. I run the Specs version. This is another totally interchangeable one, Specs or Scarf.
I run Specs also.
This is the ultimate call-out Pokemon. If you can get your reads
Tapu
right...
Lele is like the when you're watching the movie The Mask and he opens up the thing and there's just 1,000 guns.
Yeah,
that's Tapu Lele with choice specs. I'm going to point, click, delete something on the board, and it's so gratifying because she fills that role so well.
Yeah, so with the spread that we've got here, or as far as the moves, you're going to go 252 on
Blast
special
Cannon.
attack. You're not going to do anything else.
Nope.
Maybe
your nature might change, but that's about it.
Yeah. With this set right here,
for this role.
Yeah, because there's Calm.
There's other variants, but for this role that we're talking about, there's no other EV spread that's really necessary.
Yep. Focus Blast is to hit Ferrothorn. And then outside of that,
because but there's no Mystic Fire.
No Mystical Fire.
That's a that's a very noteworthy exclusion on her move pool.
Yeah.
No fire type move of any kind. She has to rely on the Focus Miss, which is an inherent drawback.
Yeah, it is.
That can't be understated. Is that is a hindrance to the set? Is that she's relying on Focus Miss, and we call Focus Blast Focus Miss for a reason.
between Psychic and Psyshock, this is the ultimate call-out tool. Ultimate call-out tool. No Pokemon is safe from this Pokemon if you predict correctly. You got Blissey in the back.
And I love it.
You got Blissey in the back. If I predict that and I throw out that Psyshock,
you're dead one turn.
Game over, dude. You know what I mean?
You're absolutely... Because
you're either giving me
because it's boosted off of your special attack and the...
And it hits the physical side of...
Well, it's boosted off your special attack and the...
terrain.
Terrain and the choice specs.
Yes. So
it's really strong, but then it calcs off of their physical defense. How much damage is sent to your opponent's side of the field is calced off of everything special, but then on their side, it calcs against their physical defense, which Blissey has like a base 10.
Yeah.
So you're going to delete...
Actually.
Yeah.
5, I think.
So you're going to absolutely delete it off the board, and they're going to think they're going to be okay. But, even a Focus Blast, I'll live it or he'll miss.
Yep. Like, if you call that in that situation, you call that correctly.
Yep.
As my opponent, you either are giving me Blissey now, or you're switching into something that's going to take a free spec Psyshock.
And
which you don't want to do.
Unless you are a Dark type or a Steel type, you essentially...
Then you just double.
You essentially can't take that hit.
Yeah.
There's basically nothing in the game that's either not immune or resistant that can take Specs Lele hits at all.
Yep.
From any of these moves.
Yep. And then the last one is Moonblast. Obviously, that's just...
Good stab.
Good stab for all the dragons, which brings us to our next Pokemon.
Ooh, boy, I'm excited. Look at this guy. So this is... we're utilizing the armor. This is the only one out of these 4 that's going to be utilizing one of the armor... tutor moves.
Yep.
This has obviously been going around for a while. This is not new. If you've been paying attention to OU over the past 4 or 5 months, this is not new to you at all. Scale Shot Garchomp has been a thing all last summer. Swords Dance plus Scale Shot is insane because you get the attack boost from the Swords Dance, you get the speed boosts out of the Scale Shot, plus you're doing damage and hitting multiple times.
If you hit those 2 moves in the right sequential order, you win the game automatically.
And he's got insanely good coverage with Quake Edge. Like, you could also... Notable things you could do here. Stealth Rock. There's Fire Fang.
Yeah.
Brick Break could be there. Crunch. There's a lot of good, like, tech options depending on what you want to do.
Yes. Poison Jab even.
Yeah.
That one's a little less... Because Earthquake is usually enough. Like, you don't really need it.
Yeah, Earthquake and Scale Shot are basically enough.
Yeah. So...
Dragon Claw is another option here if you want to do Scale Shot and Dragon Claw. Because obviously Scale Shot lowers your defense too.
Yes.
So certain game states you might not want to cripple your defense.
Yep. And another cool thing that people run with this is, obviously we have a Focus Sash on this.
This is my personal set. That's why I like the Focus Sash, to be able to... The team that I have around it's to make sure that no matter the game state, like, you know what? I really need a Swords Dance here.
Yeah.
I can get it off, and then I can Scale Shot and boom. Or Scale Shot this turn to get the speed, so that way next turn I'm...
Get that SD.
There's a lot of good ways to play around using the Focus Sash.
Yep. Last quick note on Garchomp that I find is really cool, really interesting that a lot of people do is they actually Rough Skin and Rocky Helmet, and that stops U-turns.
Yeah, because it's just so much chip to things that normally would get out for free. Yep. It's a good way to put a lot of chip onto...
Lando specifically is a really big one.
Yep, a lot of these pivoteers.
Yeah.
Pivoters.
So yeah, very, very good offensive, but also like an anti-pivot mom if you decide to go that route, because you stop Volt Switch, and then they take a lot of chip when they U-turn on you. So.
Yeah, and because obviously he's dual typing, the Stab Earthquake is how you're going to be taking care of all of these nasty, pesky fairy types.
Yep.
You're just going to smash through a Lele.
Yep.
Delete it in one turn. You're going to obliterate that Clef.
Yep.
After a Swords Dance, EQ.
Unless
GG.
it's unaware, but...
Then
you can't help it.
The Magic Guard Clef is what I meant.
Yep.
Yeah, correct. That is a good point.
Yeah.
Blissey and Chansey, they're not going to be able to stand up to you because this is physical. Like, you're going to be able to just destroy Heatran regardless of what its EV spread is because it's -- stab, Swords Dance. Like, it's really prevalent threat against most of the main tier.
Yeah, great breaker.
Great breaker and a great late game sweeper. Can kind of fill multiple roles. You don't, again, if you don't want to do that, you could do 4 attacks and do like a choice bandit or choice scarf.
Not as cool, but
as cool. But I definitely think that there's some tech there.
There's room for it. Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so those are some of our favorite OU offensive mons. So now we will move on to the defensive mons.
Big walls, big tanky pokes.
All right. One of my favorite defensive Pokemon, Blissey, tried and true.
We've already talked about her a bunch, so obviously we have to mention her here.
Yep. This has been a staple set since Gen 4 when we first started. This, in my mind, is the premier defensive when it comes to special defense. Like Slowbro or so the Slow King forms, they're good.
Yeah,
they're good. But
this is
this is. I also feel like this is. I mean, it's overused, but I feel like it's underappreciated with the Slow Kings.
Yeah, well, and it's one of those things where it's a meme in itself, or a archetype in itself. Like when we make sets, when I just made the Latias set, we literally call it the Blissey spread or the Blissey, where you're intentionally, obviously, so you see here with that giant special defense, and basically non-existent physical defense. That's the way to beat Blissey, is to attack her on the physical side. Anybody that's ever played against her, no, Chansey too. Yeah. So what you do here is you put all your EVs into the physical side because that's where you're weakest, and just let the natural special bulk be itself and ride it out.
Work on its own, yeah.
That is the most standard Chansey and Blissey tech since the beginning of time. And anytime you do that on any poke, that's what we call the Blissey spread.
Yep,
where you're intentionally filling in the other side of the weaker defense to sort of make up for it, and just let the natural bulk be natural.
So, obviously, you talked about the spread. As far as the moves go, Toxic, Protect, Wish, and Seismic Toss. You can sub out a couple of these moves for Teleport. However, Teleport,
it's risky.
Toxic, and Wish cannot exist together. I think if you're gonna use
Toxic is a transfer move from a TM or TRs or whatever.
From 7th gen, and then Teleport
Wish is from an event from back in
4th gen or 3rd gen or something crazy.
You have to transfer up. And then obviously Teleport, you have to get a Chansey from
Let's Go Pikachu
or Eevee, teach it Teleport over there from their tutor, transfer it, and then evolve it to Blissey. So there's no way to get to the event Blissey and have the Chansey, so you can't have Teleport and Wish on the same set.
So, or Toxic. So those 3 moves can't exist together. If you want to run Teleport, then you just run Stealth Rock. So that's one thing to think about when you think about the rolls. I like the Toxic one.
Could also get Thunder Wave. Could also get Aromatherapy. There are a couple of options.
That's true. But yeah, I love this spread the most. We used this spread on our last video. Our last Showdown Live in the Alakazam video. Put in tons of work like it always does.
Super standard. Super good.
Yeah. So I feel like there's not really much more to say about Blissey. So let's move on to one that you have been enjoying.
Heatran, big defensive threat. Super bulky. You're a huge proponent of this set.
Yeah. The Magma Storm Taunt, that combination is really strong in itself because
you can't break free.
You can't. It's like Fire Spin, but it's got 100 base power when it first hits you. It's got a bad accuracy of 75. But you can Magma Storm something.
Stab 100 base power move from a Heatran. Even with no investment, is still going to slap.
You trap them in, then you taunt them so they can't recover or teleport if they're a teleport Pokemon. This can 1v1 a lot of those teleporting regenerated Pokemon. You can also, I've got Stealth Rock on here just for team support. You can run Protect there if you want to run go the Blissey route where you just kind of chip them down.
Also Willow.
Yeah, you could run Willow.
Especially defensive with Willow, so then you're bulky on both sides. There's a lot of good options here. The fact that he's a rock setter, he's a premier. You could also obviously tack in a Flash Cannon here to have a nice Steel type move, depending on the team or the meta. But just the fact that he's Steel type, both defensively and offensively, could play into it there. Being a Fire type, like I already mentioned, I think is that sleeper, like hidden S tier level pick for like counter meta or anti OU meta. So yeah, he fits so many. Yeah, he's times 4 weak to ground, but you just play around that in your team. And this isn't a doubles game, so you can play around it easier in singles.
He beats certain offensive Pokemon. Where he really excels is beating defensive Pokemon.
He beats up. He's a tank buster.
Yeah, he really is.
It's just all the true damage from the Fire Spin every turn from the Magma Storm.
And then you've got the Earth Power there. Hit Pex on the switch or whatever.
Yeah, those last 2 moves are really the flex picks. You can do whatever.
I think you need the first 2 no matter what.
The first 2 will have to be there.
And then moving on to a Pokemon that gets destroyed by Heatran, but is by no means not a good Pokemon.
A really, really good wall to Kyurem.
And this is a kind of a featured mon on the channel. Yep. This is Justin's
one of the
baby.
most premier grass types of all time. I love his design. I love Ferroseed, how he's just got the little creepy eyes peeking over the ground. He's just glaring. He's just a grumpy little bastard. But no, this is my baby right here for a lot, especially in OU. I love doing rain teams.
Yes.
So then this dude in the rain, obviously being times 4 weak to fire. There's basically 2 spreads. You either do this spread here where you do the max HP and mostly physical wall with some special defense, or you do the vice versa where you do max or almost max special wall with some physical investment.
Yeah.
They're the same thing. It's just two sides of the same coin. Depends on what your team needs or whatever.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, it's a staple on rain teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost
as staple as like a Swift Swim user.
Yeah. And like with these moves, Iron Defense and Body Press, we love that here on the channel.
It is so incredibly strong.
Yeah, we use that on him. We use that on
Bronzong, Registeel.
And then obviously Leech Seed and Knockoff, like you're kind of saying, those are like your flex picks. Knockoff, if you need that on your team. Leech Seed can be switched for Stealth Rock. It can be switched for Spikes. Leech.
Personally, I think this set is the first 3 moves are necessary.
Okay.
I don't think you get rid of Leech Seed. You can, depending on like you could have more of an offensive one with like a Power Whip. I've seen that. Yeah. But a lot of times if you're going to run Power Whip, it's more of the Assault Vest variants. Yeah. Where they're going to run Power Whip, Gyro Ball, Body Press, and then, whatever that last move could be.
Yeah, you could even put Protect on here.
Yep. So, in my opinion, the knockoff is that Flex Pick. That could be Protect. That could be Stealth Rocks or Spikes. That could also be Thunder Wave, like Gyro Ball or Power Whip. Lots Seed Bomb if you don't want Power Whip missing.
Yeah. It's just so versatile.
It's so premier.
Just whatever. If you need some sort of like
if you need
wall
a
on
tank,
your team,
this is it.
Yeah.
And obviously because of the Leech Seed and then on top of the Iron Barbs plus Rocky Helmet, you're going to be doing a lot of true chip damage to opponents that are trying to break this thing down. This is an absolute, not check, but 100% counter to the Water Rapid Strike Urshifu. Mm-hmm. If Rapid Strike Urshifu, if you switch into this with the Iron Barbs and Rocky Helmet, you're going to take... and you catch them on a Surging Strikes.
They have to call you out with a close combat.
They're going to hit you 3 times, and they're going to take both Iron Barbs and Rocky Helmet for all 3. So they're getting hit 6 times a turn, and basically they just kill themselves in 1 turn.
Yeah, they can't do that more than once without getting KO'd.
So if you switch into that, they're basically neutered out the get. Like if you have a fire type or something and you think that they're going to Surging Strikes and you call the prediction right, you essentially take out a threat right then and there.
Yeah. So... like I said, like they have to call that out.
You have to call that right with the close combat.
So anything else with Ferrothorn?
No, he's just he fills that role of what you need, whether you need special wall, physical wall, damage, utility, hazards, stall, wall breaking.
It's a ridiculous Pokemon.
Yeah, he fits a lot of things well, and he can actually be a decent either wall break. He could actually be like a decent. Not sweeper, but like revenge kill or cleanup kill, depending on
we've been walled by this on the channel.
Oh, absolutely. But not only walling things, he can actually sweep, depending, with Gyro Ball and Power Whip. He actually put out damage with certain sets, too.
We were doing Palkia testing vid. We don't know if it'll ever see the light of day, but we got walled. We had 2 Pokemon.
We got walled
our whole team. I think we might have walled 3 Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was not fun.
Yeah. A good honorable mention here, especially in VGC. If you're running the Leech Seed set, a good item option would be the Big Root. It increases the healing that you get from Leech Seed or any other of those like Giga Drain or Regen type moves that.
You can leech both spots.
And you can leech both spots, and you'll be getting the increased healing twice per turn. And obviously on that set, you would absolutely put Protect.
Yep. And then last but not least is the man himself,
the Bird.
The absolute.
Might want to change that ability.
I like that ability.
Oh, you do?
I mean, you can run whatever, honestly.
I like Mirror Armor.
Yeah, Mirror Armor is good for like
anti-intimidates or any sort of random secondary effect that would go off and it bounces back.
The reason if you are running pressure, you're going to run Roost because the reason for that is to stall out close combats and things of that nature. So basically just stalling out moves, stalling out soft boileds, stalling out whatever it may be.
Those low PP moves.
Yeah. So pressure's really good, and then but because of the presence of Landorus, you can run Mirror Armor as well.
Absolutely.
Just bounce the Intimidate back. So yeah, those I think are both pretty viable, but Pressure is definitely viable. As far I've got Physically Defensive with a Rocky Helmet. I feel like that's kind of the standard.
Again, it depends on the team comp.
Yeah, it depends on the team. Like if you need a special wall, like this.
I've got one in game that's pretty similar to what we saw in the Ferrothorn, where I've got like 140 into special defense. I got a little bit of speed to outspeed the standard no investment Clefable.
Yes,
because I'm running Iron Head. So again, it's very flexible, and that's what you're seeing a lot about these S tier pokes, whether in the offensive category, defensive category, wild card, niche. The thing that you're seeing about a lot of these picks that we are choosing for this list is that they either fit one role and do that better than anybody else, like the Magnezone, or they're incredibly versatile. Yep. The versatility is what makes a Pokemon great.
Yep. So this set out here is actually Envy's. It's just really good. It's just so hard to have a Corviknight set that's bad. Like, the moves are so interchangeable. He just learns so much good stuff.
U-turn.
Defog, U-turn, Roost.
He can Iron Defense, Body Press.
Iron Defense, Body Press. It's just...
You could do, if you're not doing the... Obviously, Roost is really good. If you want to do other sets, he can do things like...
He's got Taunt. I mean, that's pretty...
He can do Tailwind. He can do Taunt. He can do Assault Vest with 4 attacks. He's got good coverage with things like Iron Head and Brave Bird. Dual Stab, which is amazing coverage.
He can Bulk Up.
Bulk Up is a really good set. You see more of that in doubles, but it obviously can... definitely put in work.
Yeah, so it's just so versatile that it's just insane.
Dual Wing Beat's obviously really cool. Better off in a Dynamax format, but still really strong.
Yep, this is really good. It's really nice because it can 1v1 Landorus. With Brave Bird and Roost and stuff like that. Easily. Because it'll Roost after the Earthquake. You just eat Stone Edges. So if you don't have an answer to the bird, you got a problem. However, we're going to move on to our niche Pokemon who... kind of are answers to a lot of these.
A lot of them.
Yeah, and we're really excited to talk about these ones. So, all right. So the first one we're going to talk about is one that we've used on the channel before, and one that I'm really excited about, and that is Rotom Heat.
Toast!
I like to run Timid with a little bit of special bulk, a little bit of special attack. As far as spreads go...
And see, I'm almost the opposite. I have... in terms of defensive, mine is max HP, max physical defense.
Yeah. You can do whatever.
It depends on what you need for the team.
Exactly. Just like Corviknight, just like Ferrothorn. Do it as far as
Brandon's here is a special wall with Willow, so then it becomes tanky on both sides. Mine is a physical wall with Willow.
Yep. This Pokemon, with its dual stab combination, actually exerts a pretty decent amount of pressure. I like Volt Switch over Thunderbolt for momentum. And I like Defog. This is one of my favorite Defog Pokemon.
Obviously, being an electric type with Levitate, he's an incredibly powerful defensive threat.
Yep.
Heavy duty boots, Defog.
Heavy duty boots are a must.
Heavy duty boots, Volt Switch, Defog, like that kind of is the set.
Yeah, and Overheat threatens a lot of the things that want to switch in on Volt Switch, like Zero Aura. A lot of the mons that came up in this recent tier shift don't want to take an Overheat.
No, and he checks.
They don't want to take one or the other.
He checks a lot of the defensive threat. Like, you have to worry about the Heatran.
Yep, that's true.
But you just Volt Switch out of there.
Yeah, you definitely Volt Switch out of that one.
But we talked about Kyurem.
Yes.
We talked about both birds in Corviknight or
Skarmory. Yep. Yeah, he threatens both of those birds.
He threatens both
really
of those
hard.
with either stab. It doesn't matter.
Yep. And you could Overheat Landorus on the switch in if
you've got Willow, so like it's a really powerful utility defensive poke.
Yeah, I really like max speed. You can run max. I like just getting my Volt Switches off and not having to worry about.
It depends on the spread. Like I've got 2 Rotom Heats in game. I've got one that's max speed, max special attack, and I got one that's max HP, max defense.
Yeah, so. The spread's up to you. However, I really love this moveset. You can also run Nasty Plot with 3 attacks. Those would usually be Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, and Overheat. That's really good coverage as well. And then you got Levitate, so you can switch in on Ground-type moves. The one problem with that, when you're the Heat version, a lot of those Pokemon that get Ground-type moves are also packing Rock-type moves. So got to watch out for that. But yeah, Rotom Heat, use it, love it, win games. Next one, we've talked about this one a lot. Magnezone.
Super strong.
This one, obviously, you're running for the magnet pull. You can run analytic.
Yep.
You like to run analytic?
I run analytic for VGC. Yep.
Okay. In singles, I really like magnet pull. This is like the whole reason you kind of use Magnezone right now.
Yeah.
Is to trap Corviknight.
And that's what I was saying. He's versatile and he's niche. Like, he fits a very niche role in that steel trap. He can, like we said, he either has the Thunderbolt or Rising Voltage, and Body Press to take care of said steel types or steel flying.
Yep.
Saddle Steel is another one we didn't mention, but that's another really great one because she is incredibly powerful, bulky and strong and fast.
And one thing to mention is I'm pretty sure you can still, like, a max speed, max attack Kartana, I think, still gets KO'd. Do get KO'd by Thunderbolt. So if you got it to, like, half, because you can still KO it. You'll trap it and KO it. However, you just got to watch out for Sacred Sword. But the set that I'm running here, I'm actually running Modest with 44 speed. That gives you enough speed to outspeed physically and especially defensive Corviknight.
Yep.
And then the Modest, you just crank up that damage output.
Which is obviously important, so that way he can't roost, turning off his flying, therefore blah, 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 blah.
Yes. So that's why I run choice specs, is to just
delete.
Just to delete those types of Pokemon.
That's this dude's job on a team.
Yes.
Is to trap and delete.
Yep. And then I have Body Press. That's something that you
that's my tech.
Yeah, you really love Body Press. And
I mean, he's got an incredibly impressive
defense. Yeah.
Physically defensive stat.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, because there's no more Hidden Power Fire, that Body Press is essentially his only good coverage against a lot of steel types who normally, we've mentioned the three premier steel types that have flying.
Yes.
And that's unfortunate for them in this matchup because then he can just zap and he still gets stab and he gets the super effective hits. But against like a Melmetal, what is he going to do? Well, now he Body Presses. Yep. And that's a 2-hit KO.
And Excadrill is another one too.
Excadrill, that's another that can potentially be a 1-hit KO depending on the spread and depending on your defense. I think you have to be over 200. I don't remember the calcs. I think it was 206 defense, one shot. But I could be. But the point is you have a lot of really solid options. Again,
hit Kartana.
The Excadrill the problem because of the EQ.
Yeah,
but.
On the Switch, though,
on paper or on the Switch, you can definitely make some play.
Yeah, because Excadrill is definitely going to try to come in on you
because he'll think he can EQ.
Yeah, and then it also is good for like Zeraora. If Zeraora thinks they're going to switch in and get a Volt Absorb, you just Body Press them. Yep. So, yeah, I actually really like your Body Press tech. It works really well against Tyranitar.
One shot's Tyranitar.
Yeah, no, I actually really like that. I think Body Press is actually a really good tech,
and it doesn't. You're not affected by Intimidate because it doesn't calc. Yeah. It's physical damage, but it doesn't calc off your attack stat at all. It's only off your defensive stat. Yep. Now, Burn will affect Body Press.
Yeah, because that's physical damage output.
It's physical damage output regardless of where it calcs from. So basically, you got to imagine there's an invisible line between your side of the field and your opponent's side of the field. Same thing with what we were talking about with the Tapu Lele and Psystrike.
Exactly. Psyshock,
excuse me. Psystrike.
You're thinking of Mewtwo's move.
Yeah, that's Mewtwo. But so basically what happens is, on my side of the field, I have a Pokemon that's using Body Press. The damage of Body Press, as it shoots from my side to your side, how much damage it does is calculated from my Pokemon's defensive stat. Currently, as it stands, the move I click it.
Yep.
It does physical damage. Burn doesn't drop your attack stat. It cuts the physical damage dealt.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what your attack stat is. Doesn't matter what move you use. Doesn't matter about stab. If you do this much physical, you have to shave it off because you're burned. So again, it's one of those fun things you can play around. So you're essentially what it means is that you're doing a physical move. Like this Body Press is absolutely obliterates Blissey.
Yeah.
This one shots every Blissey in the game. So it's one of those things where obviously you won't be able to magnet pull and trap Blissey in, but it's that niche pick where it does the physical damage. You are immune to Intimidate, so they can't drop that unless they cut your defense or something like that, or unless they burn you.
Yep.
So it's not foolproof, but it's very, very. It's a tightly locked cage.
Yeah, it's just nice for calling out.
Yeah. it's a real
switch-ins like that.
I feel like this entire episode or this entire podcast episode could be renamed like OU, the meta of predictions.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
If you,
but that's kind of like every meta.
If you have you have to be able to OU especially, like you have to be like you said, calling the switches and double switches.
Yep.
That's why we're talking about this on every single poke we've talked about. Blah 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 on the switch. Blah 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 on the switch. But that's why
on the switch is important terminology when it comes to competitive Pokemon.
It's
so
what I mean? Important. I feel like now more than ever because of like you said, regenerator, teleports, volt switches, heavy duty boots.
Yep, like the overall balance.
The overall balance is based on pivoting right now.
Yep. And speaking of pivoting, let's talk about a Pokemon that you really enjoy.
Oh yeah, the Series 8 master himself. This is the set. So. All Series 8, I've been repping the Max Adamant Incineroar. This is him. This is the EV spread. This is the move set. The only difference is the item. You can, miles may vary. There's not too many hazards in VGC, so Heavy Duty Boots is sort of irrelevant.
Yeah.
But again, this item could be anything. You could swap out that last move for Choice Band. Yep. You could do Citrus Berry. You could do Assault Vest. You could do a lot of stuff.
I wouldn't Choice Band Fake Out, but...
No. But just as an option.
Yeah, you can choice band
Doug's running a choice banded.
I have a choice. Yeah, I got a choice scarfed one with close combat because I was having such trouble with Tyranitar for a while.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, so
and mine had Drain Punch.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
really strong here. Obviously, Fake Out is really powerful. Just as powerful in singles as it is in doubles. It's really useful to be able to.
It's really nice because sometimes people kind of laugh at the chip if it's on like a weaker Pokemon.
This is not weak chip.
But you got to think about the fact that you maybe are stalling out a turn of Rain. Maybe you're stalling out a turn of Trick Room. Maybe you're stalling out a turn of Sandstorm. Maybe
or Terrain.
Stalling out a turn of Terrain that's not Psychic Terrain. Very important.
Yeah. Don't try to fake out Psychic Terrain.
Yeah, so that Fake Out, I think that's an overlooked move in my opinion.
And then obviously Parting Shot, very, very, very good tech here. It's a slow Parting Shot, which is unfortunate. But the fact that he's bulky, he'll be able to live a lot of hits. Parting Shot somebody, and it's like, oh, wait a minute. Crap, now I'm weaker.
Yep.
Physical or special.
I use Scarfed Parting Shot.
Yep, and if you get the Intimidate plus a Parting Shot and a physical poke, now they're -2, and then you come back and Intimidate later. It's a lot of good shuffling. Again, more pivoting. Yep.
And
then the Dual Stab. You really can't go wrong. Flare Blitz Darkest Lariat is just insanely good coverage, insanely good damage. Dual Stab.
Yeah.
Hits a lot of things for super effective in the tier. You come up here and hit a lot of Ghosts, a lot of Psychics.
Hit Bisharp.
Hit all of these Steel types.
Corvi, Dragapult.
Yep.
Excadrill, Fairthorn. It's a really good Dual Stab combination. And then, if you wanted to drop Fake Out for a fighting move,
absolutely
talking about,
Drain Punch or Close Combat,
it just gets better.
You could do U-Turn also as another pivot option instead of Parting Shot.
Yeah, because then you can call out the slows.
Yep.
You can call the Slow Bros, the Slow Bros, Slow King. You call out Tapu
if they come in to take a fire move and get hit with a Darkest Lariat or a U-Turn.
Yeah, you can U-turn out on Finny if Finny wants to come in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
it's a really strong poke. He's premier in VGC for a reason.
Yeah, it would be really cool to see him get a little more representation in singles. I'm definitely kind of on the same boat as you.
I think the offensive variant is what's going to throw people off. They don't. I don't know why. I truly can't fathom. But people don't expect Instant to be able to point, click, delete. Yeah. And when he does, it's like, I told you.
Yeah. So we're going to move really quickly on to our last kind of...
This one's a little fun. This is our wild card pick.
Yep. So we'll... these are our off-meta picks.
So this is like bringing something that's not OU
to OU.
Yep. Or not traditionally thought of as like an OU threat or OU meta or BL meta.
Yep. So we'll run through those real quick and we'll get out of here. All right, Justin, talk about Togekiss.
Well, obviously, as we've been talking so far, the 3 premier types up here, Dragon, Fairy, Steel. So, obviously, we're going to go dip down in one of the premier fairies that I've dealt with. Obviously, been playing a lot of VGC lately, but also been, 12, whatever.
This is a 4th-gen staple.
12 whatever years of competitive singles Pokemon has taught me one thing, and that's Crit Kiss is always relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Crit Kiss is always good. It's always annoying. It always comes in handy. Now, mileage may vary on what your flex pick move, your 4-slot move would be. I'm running Yawn, so Yawn 3 attacks. Yours could be Protect 3 attacks. You could have, I think she still gets Roost in this format.
Yes.
So there are some definitely good options. You don't have to run Yawn, but that's just me personally.
Yep. Aurasphere is the other one you could slot into Yawn. And Flamethrower, Air Cutter. Oh, we got Cutter. You want Air Slash?
Air Cutter already has a higher crit chance. So
So definitely Cutter.
Yep.
Probably then. Yeah. I used this Pokemon in Battle Stadium
a lot.
Singles, and it helped me get to Master Ball when we had in the 3v3 format. I haven't touched 3v3 in Series 8, and I won't. But
of Ubers.
I like it. It's a really fun pick. It's just kind of like a no-nonsense pick. The one thing that I don't like about this is when you don't crit, the damage is kind of disappointing, which is weird because
it's got good
look at that special attack.
The stab fairy move is going to come in really handy. And then the fact that it gets a fire move, again, obviously VGC Heat Wave here, Flamethrower.
Yeah.
That is going to come in really handy because the big thing that you're going to pull out to stop this is probably going to be a steel type most times. And then you just flamethrowers in their face and boom. Now, the one thing you obviously need to be aware of here, we've already talked about, is Heatran. Heatran walls this thing all day and every day.
We can do an OU special and just talk about Heatran all day.
We can literally talk about Heatran for an hour, an entire podcast on Heatran.
Yep.
But so yeah, that's this set. It's really fun. Yawn 3 attacks, 50% crit chance on. That's 100% crit chance every time you click Air Cutter.
Yep.
And it's 50% chance on Dazzle or Flamethrower.
Yep. And then one Pokemon that I picked out.
Super fun.
I've
actually, this is the thing that my very first ability patch ever.
Yeah.
I spent 200 Dynamite on this thing.
Obviously, you want to run this on a Hail team. Like I would run Ninetales because Ninetales is the fastest Aurora Veil user.
Yep.
I wouldn't use the Ice Cream or Auroras up here.
No.
If you want to be crazy, go for it.
I would use Ninetales especially because it's fairy type also.
Yeah. So you can, and it gets things like Encore. You could Nasty Plot up
Stab
if you really
Dazzle.
wanted to. It's got Hypnosis.
Yeah, mine has a Nasty Plot plus Aurora Veil.
Yep. So I've got an offensive, and then I've got a fully support. As far as Arctazil,
it's kind of funny. That's my Ninetales. It's Nasty Plot, Aurora Veil, Blizzard.
Yep.
And I can't remember if it's Moonblast or Dazzle, but
I think it's Moonblast. Yeah.
Super solid set.
Yeah, so I've got a mixed EV spread here. This because we're running a mixed attacking set because of Freeze Dry. Freeze Dry is super valuable in OU right now. Really can't be understated enough that it hits so many things, especially like Tapu Fini. Well, I mean, I guess Tapu Fini wouldn't switch in on this anyway. But the thought is there.
The thought is there. If you're late game sweeping and they don't have a choice but to, you're...
Yeah. Like Bolt Beak and Icicle Crash hits like a whole lot of stuff. That's why I've got a Life Orb on it as well to kind of just like bolster that. Like, there's just like
because its offensive stats aren't incredible.
No, but like when you double its speed, it's like I think you start outspeeding Dragapult and you can like Icicle Crash. You can Freeze Dry Dragonite. Well, you can Icicle Crash it too.
You want to Icicle Crash?
Yeah, for sure.
You could also do Icicle Spear.
Yeah, if you're crazy.
You could do Icicle Spear, and that could actually
that would destroy Dragonite.
I was just going to say it's a niche pick, but we're in the niche. We're in the super wild card. That could be a really nice niche check to Dragonite. Get through that multi-scale on the first hit, and then at least one more through, or two or three. You get, you know what I mean? You get a couple boosts through.
Yep. Freeze Dry hits Kartana really hard. Like Bolt Beak, you can hit
everything.
So many things, but yeah, I just kind of like the...
Another honorable mention would be...
Freeze Dry for Swampert.
Yep. Another honorable mention here is the fact that he does get access to Rising Voltage. That's what I'm using on my set. Again, this is for one of my test VGC teams that we were running for Kyron Black. So we had Hail there and then also Electric Terrain. Yep. So we had sort of a double. We used both Bolt Beak and... Rising voltage. Yeah. But I really like your Freeze Dry tech. Yep. And obviously, in a Dynamax format, it gets Rock Slide to start up its own sand.
Well, you don't want sand on
Or, excuse me, I was thinking about the other ones. The Rock Slide was for fire coverage.
Yep. So,
I was thinking about Dracozolt and Dracovish.
Yeah. So, moving on to the next one. This one, Justin, you've been using a lot. Galarian Weezing.
Oh, top hat. So beautiful.
Yep.
So first of all, real quick, being somebody who fights against a Galarian Weezing, how do you feel?
I hate it.
It's annoying.
It's really annoying.
It's really annoying to deal with. What makes it so annoying to you?
It's just so fat. Also, this neutralizing gas.
Yeah. It's so fat.
Don't run Levitate. Run the neutralizing gas.
Yeah. The neutralizing gas ability on top of its bulk.
Yeah.
That pair right there. And then, obviously, it's got an insanely good move pool. Mm-hmm. It's Weezing. It's always been good. Always will be good.
Yes.
But it's Poison. So that's a premier typing now.
Yep.
It's Fairy, premier typing now.
Yep.
You can run Black Sludge, which is really cool. Neutralizing Gas obviously turns off the abilities of every Pokemon in the game. So
like you could stop like terrains and stuff like that.
Stop terrains. You stop Intimidates. You can stop Swift Swims or Solar Powers or Chlorophylls. Like we just talked about the Arctozolt getting the Slush Rush in the hail. You turn off that, and now he's slow.
Yeah.
So
you could like burn it with Will-O-Wisp.
Super strong. And obviously, so we got Will-O-Wisp, we got Pain Split. Those are pretty staple on most tanky Weezings out in the world, whether it's Galarian or Kanto.
Yep.
We're running Max Physical Wall. You obviously can do the Blissey spread where you do Max Special Wall and let its physical kind of ride on its own, the way we describe. Yep. Absolutely. I think you have one of those. And it works well. It's very bulky. Yep. Very, very hard to deal with, actually. It was a surprise.
Yeah, it's so nice to switch in on fighting type moves because of the coverage.
Yeah.
Or because of the typing.
Dude, ×4, like Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr who?
I don't know that guy.
Do you know what I mean? Like, Komodo can't do anything. He's ×4 weak to your strange
That's another thing. Because of neutralizing gas, Guts turns off.
Guts turns off, and now he gets the damage cut from the burn.
Yeah.
So we could talk. I could talk about Top Hat again for another hour. This is probably one of the pokes I've used and fell in love with the most in 8th gen.
Yep.
And the last move I want to talk about is, in my opinion, the flex pick is the Pain Split.
Yes.
Because the poison move could be Clear Smog, could be Toxic Spikes. I think he gets plain old Toxic,
He does. Defog.
Defog's really good, but Haze.
Aromatherapy.
Clear Smog is just a damage version of Haze. Aromatherapy is really good, but I really like the Armorite move, Corrosive Gas. Mm-hmm. And there's no damage, but it's essentially a knockoff without being a knockoff. So you got a weakness policy, I'm going to Corrosive Gas, you still have the weakness policy on you, but it's neutralized. There's no effect ever.
Yep. Yeah. I think neutralizing gas just like...
Neutralizing gas plus the Corrosive Gas.
It's just...
This is one of those like super utility. You have to play around it, but he's got so many answers. Yeah. He can burn. He can essentially knock off, or he could Pain Split, which is damage and healing. Yeah. Like it's really impressive.
Really fun Pokemon. Definitely something that you can.
Very good. And again, he is such a good defense. Look through OU, and think about what those main threats can do to this Weezing. Like, think about what that Garchomp does. Yeah, he can EQ. That's true.
Yeah, but what's it gonna really do? You know what I mean? Like, he can't Scale Shot on you. You can burn it.
You can't one-shot me unless you already have at least
a couple swords. You need a couple Sword Stance. Yeah.
With one Sword Stance, you cannot one-shot me, and I can burn you.
Yeah.
Willow can miss.
Yeah, it's good against like Hydreigon that don't carry Flash Cannon. Watch out for those.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just
very, very potent.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to.
You got one, don't you?
Yeah, I've got another one that I think is gonna be pretty good in this tier. Is Golurk.
Ooh, I did not expect that. Tell me about this.
So Golurk. Now, this particular spread, I've got Life Orb and 4 attacks on this. If you want to run Rock Polish, which I kind of suggest, Rock Polish is a great set because it makes you faster than Dragapult, and that's really important because you're going to run Poltergeist and Earthquake on every set.
Yep.
I do have
Poltergeist obviously being another one of those amazing Armorite or Armor Vial tutor moves, and it does more damage if they are holding an item.
I've got Iron Fist. You can run No Guard if you don't want to miss Poltergeist. He also has access to Dynamic Punch.
Yep.
I think it's a little less useful, but still pretty good. But this dual stab combination is really good.
And Iron Fist boosted anything we already know from running Hitmonchan or all of my, decade plus running, Mr. Diddy Kong himself, the Infernape.
Yep.
Like, Iron Fist boosted really, really does, no pun intended, pack a punch. Like, it really is surprising how much of a boost it matters. Like, how much it actually matters.
Yeah, I think if you're going to run the Iron Fist set, you're almost better off.
You could, obviously, with the Iron Fist set, just run Shadow Punch.
Yeah, and then Bandit. You choice Bandit.
Yep, and you choice Band.
Because then
Ice
it becomes
Punch, Thunder Punch, Shadow Punch, Earthquake.
Yeah. That's what I would do. I think that's a little more valuable. But like with the Ice and Thunder Punch, you hit so much of this tier. You know what I mean?
So good coverage.
And you got
Bolt
Earthquake
Beam's
for
always
this.
been good coverage.
You know what I mean? You got Earthquake for this. Clefable doesn't want to take, especially choice Band.
Now the problem is obviously his
speed.
No, Bisharp's Sucker Punch.
Yes. But you know what I mean? Like he can't switch in on Earthquake.
No.
Then you got Ice Punch here.
Thunder Punch for Corv. Ice Punch for the Dragons.
So, and then you know what I mean?
Yeah, like what does Dragonite do to
What does Regieleki do to Golurk?
What is
he literally can't touch him.
Assurance, that's it.
Yeah.
What is your Dragonite going to do to this Golurk?
Nothing.
Do you see what I mean?
If it's Iron Fist boosted and
I'm just gonna Ice Punch you probably through your Marvel scale or multi-scale and just kill you, right?
Yeah, because if Nihilego's +1 Meteor Beam KOs, then why wouldn't a +4 Iron Fist boosted choice banded Ice Punch
+4?
So
yeah.
So Golurk is one that I think can work in a tier. I think the Rock Polish set is better than the Choice Bandit set, but that's a late game thing. If you want to break things immediately, then
you get rid of Ghost, you get rid of Ground,
that's the hard part. He learns so much stuff. Yeah,
he's got the 5-slot syndrome. You need a 5th move slot.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to the last Pokemon before we go. And
we do have one more, don't we?
We do have one more, and it's a Pokemon that you and I both really like, especially me. That would be Hatterene.
Hatterene. Yeah, this was actually, I'm the one who called this out, and you're like, oh yeah, how did I forget about her, dude? Like, I was going on, I was like, she's insanely powerful.
Yes.
Insanely powerful. She has one of the best abilities in the game.
Yep.
She had, especially in singles.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we're talking about singles here. Like, in singles, competitive play, Magic Bounce is one of, probably top 3 or top 5 best abilities in the game.
Yep.
She has one of the more premier or most premier special attack stats in the non-Uber metagame.
Yep.
She is one of the slowest pokes in the game.
Yep. This 29 here.
That's so important. How important is it that it's 29 and not 30?
Super important because you know how many base 30 Pokemon there are?
Most.
A bunch. A lot of your slowest Pokemon are base 30.
Most of what people in the world would call premier Trick Room, VGC or singles, are at base 30.
Yeah.
Most are at base 30.
This is slower than those. So in a Trick Room, you get the edge on
I
those.
win.
Yep.
So obviously we're running Trick Room 3 attacks here and
Life Orb.
Life Orb. You know, mileage may vary. You could run Expert Belt. You could run Twisted Spoon. You could do a lot of different things.
It does get Giga Drain if you're worried about that.
It does. It's got insanely good move pool.
Yeah.
The coverage is why I picked her.
Yes.
So obviously the fairy typing is the main. I'm going to try to not say premier again, but the main reason I picked her is because she's a good fairy type, good stab. She deals with all these dragons really well.
Yep, but to get in a Trick Room, it's just...
Once you get a Trick Room set up, it's basically GG in like 4 turns.
Dude,
4 games out of 5. If you get a Trick Room set up and she's healthy, you're basically just...
If you get a Trick Room at full health, it's ridiculous, dude.
But you have it. You have the cursor kind of blinking on the reason that I wanted to talk about her more than anything else.
Mystical Fire.
The fact that she has a way, just like the Togekiss, to deal with the steel types who would... Because obviously, dragons are strong. You bring a fairy type to deal with the dragon. Your opponent brings a steel type to deal with the fairy. It's just...
An endless cycle.
And then how do you deal with the steel? Fire. Well, instead of bringing a fire poke, like I said, that 4th sort of premier typing... She does it at once, just like the Togekiss. Yep. She's got the fairy and the fire built in. Yep. Now, the only way to make it truly oppressive is if she also had...
Fire Blast.
Well, no. If she also had a way to... like effectively defend against the Steel types also.
Yeah, that's like
other than just
one drawback.
Yeah.
One thing I really want to point out that's really important about Hatterene is Ferrothorn is slower than you in a Trick Room.
Yep.
He's got a base 20, so keep that in mind.
And if he's got Gyro Ball, it will not do an insane amount because the speed is so similar.
So similar, yeah.
But it will still chip enough, especially through the Leech Seed and or Protect shenanigans.
Yep.
It might be something to worry about, but honestly, you just Mystic Fire.
Yeah. So, yeah, obviously
the biggest thing
Fire
for Hat
good,
is that,
but that stab.
The biggest thing for Hatterene, the biggest obstacle for her is other fairy types.
Yeah, but like when you talk about like the dragon types, like the Dazzling Gleam coverage is pretty insane here. Like,
yeah, the reason that the reason I mentioned both Togekiss and Hatterene is specifically their checks and balance, their ability to check and balance dragons.
Yeah, yep. So yeah, Hatterene, use it, love it.
Yeah, and in a Dynamax format, you want to talk about that real quick? Just as a fun little honorable mention.
Honorable mention. So in a Dynamax format, there's another Pokemon that helped me get to Master Ball. It's just so perfectly fine-tuned because the G-Max Hatterene, if you get a Trick Room up, you weakness policy it, start Psychic Terrain, you protect yourself against priority moves, you're boosted, and then when you click G-Max Smite, you don't change your terrain.
You're not clicking Starfall, so you can click your Stab Fairy move and still keep the immunity to Sucker Punch or whatever.
It's perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Yeah, and then 50% chance confusion for both opponents, and it's G-Max Smite or G-Max Hatterene is
beautiful.
Stay tuned for more of that. You're going to see more of that from this weekend because we already have 3 videos recorded.
Yep. So
G-Max Hatterene is featured on your Calyrex Ice Players Cup 14.
Yep, you will see that tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of Players Cup 4, do you want to... Let's wrap this up and let's go jump on your Urshifu. Let's go jump on your Calyrex team and see if we can't keep up the win streak, right?
We're out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hope it helps you out in your journeys on the ladder in OU. I really enjoyed doing the episode.
Make sure you guys let us know down in the comments below or over on our Facebook. What do you think of the tier changes? It doesn't have to be OU. Let us know because, again, we love RU. We love UU, RU, NU, PU. Play every single tier all the time. I personally love NU and OU the most. I think for you, I think for you it'd be the same, but maybe backwards. OU then NU. I like NU than OU.
I was big on UU until the recent bans.
Until
all my offense is gone.
Kyurem and Kazam.
Yeah, so now like
two of your favorites.
All my offense is gone, and my defensive pivot and Slowking is gone. I'm like, I don't want to play this tier anymore.
But yeah, let us know what you think of the new tier shifts. This is brand new for all of us. The first time, obviously this being April, this is the first time we've had, for the next 3 months, other than bans, quick bans, and suspect and stuff. This is what we're left with. So let us know what you think. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to comment down below. Subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out, and share the video out.
We're going to put a bubble around here somewhere for you to just click on. You just sub. It's just so easy.
Over here, there's a bell. You should hit that bell. Click it. Click it right now. You know what that does? That gives you a notification every time that we upload a new video to the channel.
Yep. All right, well, until next time, guys, I am Zero.
And I'm Grass Leader Justin.
Class is dismissed.